Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Cowboys Storyline with Nick Eatman.
What is up? Welcome to Cowboys Storyline. It is Tuesday, April the 9th. I'm Nick Eatman here, and we are ready to get this thing rolling. A couple weeks to go, 2.5 weeks before the draft. This is kind of that dead period time where you don't see a lot of things happening. You know, you get kind of close to the draft. It's like, all right, we've done everything in free agency, right? Insert joke. But everything's done there, and then you're waiting a little bit to see what happens in the draft, and then there'll be maybe a little bit of wave after that of some moves. I still think the Cowboys are going to do few more things. Still got to get a running back at some point. But we'll see, and I'll hear from you guys and see what you think, what will happen here, if anything, in the next few weeks, or just talk about the draft. 888-855-2297. The text line, 817-290-3298. Let's get started here. Let's go with Jeff in Salt Lake City.
Hey, Nick, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. What's up, man?
I didn't want to start out with the how you doing just based on your show from last Thursday. I thought that commentary was pretty funny.
Yeah.
With that. But go ahead, sorry.
No, I mean, it's normal. You know, you just say, hey, I was good. I mean, but that's what happens when you walk by someone in the hallway. Hey, how you doing? No one stops and says, well, let me tell you. Yeah.
Exactly. I got a comment and a question for you. I listened to the Thursday show this past weekend, and I believe it was Joe from Stanford that said, you know, he's pretty, like with all the players that we've lost, you know, this offseason, he was kind of excited, you know, with all the young players that are going to be coming up and, you know, getting more time, such as Sam Williams, Golston, and all that. And I feel the same way, too, with the draft coming up. You know, I think we'll probably focus more on the offense. You know, there's at least 3 starting spots available, and I'm with you. I think the second round, they got to take a running back, and I wouldn't be against that. I think we need a dynamic running back. And I think the defense, I think will be okay. Other than Jonathan Hankins, a lot of those players that we lost were depth pieces, so I think we'll be okay. One thing, and this is kind of towards my question for you, one thing that does kind of concern me is the cornerback position. Outside of the top 3 and with Trayvon Diggs coming back from his ACL, I don't see a lot of depth there, although they do have some young guys with N'Shawn Wright and all that. But what's your thoughts on moving Israel Mukuamu back to corner? Because, 2 years ago, towards the end of the season after they lost Anthony Brown, and in that playoff game against the Niners, he played a pretty big role, and I thought he did pretty well, especially covering in the slot for his size. So I just like your opinion on that. And then my past player, just with the draft coming up, Rob Petiti. I believe he was a 7th-round pick in the Bill Parcells era.
That's right. All right. Thank you, Jeff, for the call. We just did a documentary on the 2005 draft class, and he was a part of that. He played a little bit. He played that first year. He had to start some, I believe, at right tackle. But, he wasn't a big focus of that documentary. Obviously, there was a lot more defensive guys and, of course, Barber. But yeah, he was he only played a little bit. But, you know, he did play some that first year. Your question about Mukuamu, I mean, like, you know, when he was drafted, I remember him saying, he told Dan Quinn, he was like, I'm going to be the best cornerback in the draft. And they're like, that's cool. We're moving you to safety. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm going to be the best safety. You know what I mean? Confidence there. But my point is that going into draft, I mean, he didn't know. He was kind of a little bit of both. I mean, he played opposite of J.C. Horn at South Carolina at corner. And so he's got the skills to do it. It wasn't like he was playing in Division II. I mean, it was his SEC. So he could, I think he could do that, and I don't think that's a bad idea at all, especially with the fact when Marquise Bell, similar type player, but a little bit more tweener from safety linebacker, is moving back to safety. So you got some depth at safety there, and I think, you know, Mukuamu, that wouldn't be a bad move. I mean, you'd have a couple of corners that are in the same boat. They're draft picks. They're in their third and fourth years. Nashawn Wright being the other, tall, lanky. So I mean, I could see that kind of being the case, but I'm not really worried about the depth. I mean, you got two guys that have led the league in interceptions. In the last 3 seasons now with Diggs and Bland. You got playmakers. Jordan Lewis is a good slot guy, so I think you can't have a ton of depth at all positions. I think it's a pretty strong position, and then of course now you're looking at some guys behind him. But no, that's a good idea about Mukwamu. I mean, or at least be a tweener guy that could do a little bit of both. All right, Dylan in Northport, Florida is next. Dylan,
hey Nick,
how you
how's
doing?
It going? Good. Just got a question for you. I'm a little confused on some of these contracts I'm looking up. Are Zach Martin and DeMarcus Lawrence both on the last year of their deal as well, like CD?
They got voidable years. It's like Dak. It could void. I mean, so.
But they're unrestricted free agents next year, right? Like they could leave, and then Dallas is stuck with the void money.
Yeah, they could when the contract ends. Yes, that could happen for both of those guys.
Jeez, man. So then you've got CD, Zach, and DeMarcus Lawrence this year. Then you've got to figure out, or after the season, or during the season. And then next year you got Micah, Jake Ferguson, Deron Bland. What the heck is going on here? I'm looking at these numbers and I'm starting to freak out a little bit because I haven't heard anything except for just Dak and CD so far. But now this is looking a little scary for the next 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be a good team this year and able to compete. Next year, I don't know. Next year's going to be a challenge for sure. But I mean, now to me, like that's their job to focus on that. And also, there's going to be more things happening that you don't even know about, or less things happen. I mean, just the narrative changes all the time. Like you just mentioned, Deron Bland, he would never be in your talk last year about contract and things like that. He played his way into that. And so that's part of it. I mean, all I'm saying is you're not wrong. It's something to think about. But there's a good part about him is that they're here. They're on your team. They're good players. So yeah, no doubt. Do you think that that's playing into like the conversation with Dak? Like that's on their mind. Look what we got to do the next 2 to 3 years. Let's figure out what we got to do with Dak as it pertains to the rest of the roster as well. Or I mean, I'm sure that it's probably on their mind, right? The front office. It has to be. It has to be on their mind. And I think that I hate using this phrase because it's been overplayed, overused, and it never was supposed to even be mentioned. But this season is kind of all in that terms. It wasn't in free agency. It was already kind of there. This is where they are. This is the year. This is going to be their best chance. I would think, unless something dramatic changes, I would think this is going to be their best chance to really have a good team. And I mean, they were good last year. This was a good football team. They need to make some tweaks. They lost some guys, but they also feel like they can replace some of those guys. So yeah, and you can't keep every superstar forever. And I guess that plays into their philosophy of drafting the guys and replacing them as time goes on that way with cheap talent. So Dylan, I'll say this. I think you can keep every superstar forever. But you're going to lack depth, though. But the problem is they're not always superstars. They were. I think when they stop becoming a superstar, and you hope it times out just right, where the contract and then how much you've got for them, and it rarely does. You know what I mean? It rarely does. You have a decision to make. Do they still have some good years left? Do they have great years left? If so, what's their value, their worth, all that kind of stuff. It's tough to kind of plan out, but you want to keep your superstars. But Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Deion Sanders, they were all released by this team. It's Zach Martin and DeMarcus Lawrence are getting up there in age too, so I'll be curious to see what happens there. If you keep all these guys too, I mean, they're all cornerstones. You've got like 6 cornerstone players here. You're going to hurt for depth as well down the trough, I think, unless you can draft really well. Right. You're just going to keep bringing in kind of Band-Aids down the trough. So right. Just something interesting I was thinking about, man. Real quick, favorite guy movie. I missed that last week. It was Casino. I think mafia movies probably count, so I'll go with Casino. Casino, all right. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that one. I probably would it, though. I'm sure I would. I'd like that. I mean, I like Rounders. I like that one. That's kind of a good movie. And not really Casino, but as a poker movie with Matt Damon. That's one of my favorites. That's one of those. Every time it's on, I'm watching that one for sure. All right. All right, Nick, thanks. All right, Dylan. Thanks. Appreciate the call. All right. that reminds me a little bit, though. Let me get the text line up here. 817-290-3298. So Dylan was on the all storyline team that we announced a few weeks ago. First team, all storyline, and that reminds me. Now we're moving on this. We're moving on the T-shirts. This is going to happen for sure. But with T-shirts, you got to get specific sizes and stuff like that. So that's what I'm asking the guys that were on the all storyline team to text it in. The 817-290-3298. I want you to text your address and your shirt size so we can get you the right one. And I would imagine we're going to get people on there that weren't on the team. They'll send it in anyways. That's fine. We have the list. We will sift through it for sure. But 817-290-3298. If you're on the team, doesn't matter first, second, third, honorable mention, doesn't matter. Send in your address and if you're comfortable doing that. If so, then we'll have to figure out another way. But that and your shirt size, so we can get you the proper size there. All right, I'm gonna take a break here. I
have a call if you want it.
Oh, okay, we'll take a call. Sorry, take the call.
I'm sorry. My computer died. I'm sorry, Nick.
Oh, computer died. We're gonna take a phone call here. I'll just answer it.
No, it's Ali in Florida.
All right. I better
so we can get you right.
Turn my volume down here. Ali, what's up?
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. First, I want to congratulate you. I was thinking about you. John Calipari is going to Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I'm not an Arkansas fan, but I'm happy for you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy as well. I've been very excited about this. Been very excited about the basketball team that didn't make the tournament, but our expectations have gone up now. So awesome.
Yeah, so the basketball team, they're going to bring a lot of great football players too. So
hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I got a question for you. And trivia and an opinion.
Okay.
Very quick.
Okay.
Do you think Mr. Jones ever listened to your podcast?
No.
Okay. Which NBA coach was drafted as a wide receiver by Dallas Cowboys? You can answer me later.
Pat Riley?
You know that there's only one. Oh?
Pat Riley?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so my opinion is this. I think Jerry Jones and Steven, everybody, they put the best foot forward. I don't think they ever try to cut the corners and stuff. But I think the NFL salary cap is kind of flawed system. For example, we got 53 players roster. Salary cap this year was $230 million, which $30 million was just like an extra. So if you pay not just the Cowboys, pay the Cowboys, the Dak $50 million, Micah $25 million, CeeDee Lamb $25 million. These are just like a almost pretty decent number. That's $100 million. Then you got $230 million. You got another 50 players. You got to divide the rest of them. So what they're doing, they are paying attention to television, revenue, streamlining, but they're diluting the good team like Buffalo. And all these good teams are forced to lose players, some to salary cap. Then you don't see those quality teams like a couple years ago, Kansas City and Buffalo that had a great playoff game. And I think this eventually is going to take a toll on every team. They're forced to make a lot of decisions which they don't want to do. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Ali. You're talking about the model of what this is right now and how the cap is structured, and it happens sometimes. And I think the quarterback market is taking this out of whack. It seems like the quarterback market is moving at a faster pace than the actual overall salary cap, and creating a value to the quarterback that is probably even inflated, even though it's important. I mean, obviously having a quarterback is important, but it's putting a huge strain on your rest of your team. And, it may be something that they have to figure out for sure. But sorry, I'm losing my voice again. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong in that, and it's kind of worrisome a little bit. They're going to have to figure that out. Somebody said the other day, maybe make it I've heard this argument a couple times. Make it separate for the salary cap for the quarterback. But what I'd hate to see happen is teams start taking the approach like they do for running backs and say, we'll draft a quarterback, we'll build around him, and we'll try to win. And then when it's time to pay him, we'll probably try to get someone else. That's very, very risky because it's different than just running the football, obviously playing quarterback and being the leader and all that. But it almost feels like we're getting to that point. And so that would be sad if it happens like that. So hopefully there can be something done. But, if you can't just keep making the salary cap bigger and bigger, but you got to figure out a way to keep the quarterback in there to a point where, and I'm sure there's ways to do it. There's ways to do the salary cap that way. But yeah, that's a good point, Ali, that you're kind of wondering down the line, this could be a problem. All right, let's go to Randy in Texarkana, Arkansas.
There you go. How you doing today, Mr. Nick?
I'm good. How you doing?
Well, I figured you'd remember that last call, mate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
All right. So, hey, I don't get to listen to the show until I'm on my way back from Oklahoma back to Texarkana, and I listen to it. And first of all, oh, my God, I hate the way I sound on the radio. I always thought I had a FM DJ voice, and I love it. I love the way you sound. I love it. It sounds closer to Gomer Powell than what I was expecting. But
that's okay. That's okay.
There you go.
Good show.
So
Good show.
I heard the nice things you had to say about me. I was going to tell you next time you're in Texarkana, you can holler at me. Chris has got my phone number there on caller ID. You and the wife come out. I got a house out in the country. We do some karaokeing and getting after it.
I bet you do. What is your karaoke song?
Oh, I got two of them. Let's see, Creep by Radiohead. I think that's their name, Creep. Okay. And then my for sure go-to is Comfortably Numb, Pink Floyd.
Okay.
I think I handle those two pretty well. But
okay.
Yeah. What's yours?
Gin and Juice. Gin and Juice by Snoop Dogg. I mean,
do you really?
Yeah.
There you go.
No doubt about it. It's the only song I've ever really done. Only song I've ever done on karaoke. So
there you go.
That might be our next theme. What's your karaoke song if you had to do it? Awesome. All right.
There you go.
All right, Randy.
Yes.
What do you got?
All right. So I don't know why, everybody calls the NFL copycat league. And for whatever reason, this has not been copied. And I was just going to see what you had to say about it. But the 86 Bears offense, believe it or not, Refrigerator Perry, 1 yard line, goal line. You hear year after year, the Cowboys got to get a big running back. We need that 1 yard. Why is it, do they not use a backup linebacker, backup D tackle, whatever it is, tell them, look, don't worry about making a move. Don't look for a hole. I'm just going to put the ball in your belly. You hold on to it with both hands, and you go forward as hard as you can. I see a high percentage of that making it 1 yard to the goal line, into the end zone, and I just don't understand why more people don't try that,
Yeah. You're right. I mean, now you see it some – I mean, it still happens, and it happens. I see it in college football some. It seems like it was happening more with just more blockers. Like you see those big defensive linemen out there, maybe not to give them the football.
Right.
I mean – think about the Dolphins game this last year. The Cowboys started off. I mean, they're looking great. They're going down. They're getting fourth downs. And Hunter Lipke's doing the work. I mean, he's got 3 or 4 big plays there. And now it's first and goal from the 1. And Pollard should have got in. He didn't. But it's first and goal at the 1. So no one's that worried because it's first and goal. And then a running back who has got the football several times in his life fumbles the ball, and how deflating it was. It doesn't mean the Cowboys couldn't have won that game, but But obviously, that was a huge play early in the game, and so that's probably where a lot of this comes from. You can do it when you have the 85 Bears and the Fridge fumbled at the 1, they're probably going to get a safety. That defense was so good, so you could lean on that. Plus, you did have the all-time leading rusher at the time, Walter Payton, also running the ball and stuff like that. So,
and he was mad because he didn't even get a touchdown.
He sure was
game.
in the Super Bowl. And Mike Ditka has said it for years. I messed up. He probably said a different word, but he said I messed up. If I would have known, I would have given the ball to him, and they should have. People also forget Jim McMahon, I think, ran for a couple himself, and Matt Suey scored a couple. So they could have gotten Sweetness the ball.
Absolutely.
For sure. So, but whatever. Anyways.
Right. Wouldn't you like to see Osa back there maybe? They keep talking about he's got, the agilities and the athleticism and all that. Like, surprise them. And if, let's say if Parsons happens to still be on the team next year, you never know.
Get him the ball?
I don't know if you've seen his highlights when he was in high school, but he was bulldozing people, running 80, 90-yard. I mean,
yeah,
I get that you don't want to wear him out because he has so many plays on defense, but you know what? If you have that in the game plan to use him, just give him a few reps off on the defense ahead of time. Just kind of plan it in. I wouldn't say do it all the time, of course not, but every once in a while, something like that would be different and nice,
He would score. There's no doubt about it. He would score.
Absolutely.
I have no doubt that Micah Parsons would score from the 2-yard line or one.
Exactly.
No doubt. I'm with you. But I'll say this, I don't know. You name the player, and I don't even want to throw it out there, but name the linebacker. They had a guy named Devin Harper, 7th-round pick, a few years ago, or Luke Gifford. Remember him? I bet you they were all balling out in high school. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's just the way it is. But I do think Micah's special, and I think he can do just about. I mean, I've seen Micah Parsons literally say, "Hey, give me a better bat for this home run derby, and I think I can hit a couple home runs here." And he sent a guy to the sporting goods store, and he comes back with a $500 bat, and he was hitting them into the neighborhood next door. So yeah, he can do that. He's a good bowler. We've seen him run. I bet he could do. We've seen him play basketball. He was the MVP at that celebrity game. So
freaking nature.
He could do just about anything. So
absolutely,
all right. Randy, good stuff.
Good deal.
Good
hey man, appreciate it, guys. And hey, Chris, I hope everything went good yesterday with the scope. You probably should have just pooped in the box. That's what I did. It's a lot easier.
Awesome.
All right, we're doing this, huh?
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Well,
hey, y'all put it out there, man. I'm 50, y'all in y'all's 40s. Hey, it's part of life. It's not the best thing, but it's a lot easier than what you did. So.
All right, Randy. All right.
All right, guys.
Sounds
Y'all have a good one.
Yeah. That call just went to crap, literally.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah,
wow.
Let's go.
I thought, Chris, hold on. I thought you'd just say, hey, what's your name? Cool. Put you on hold. We'll get right to you. I mean, what kind of conversations are you having back there?
It had nothing to that with him. It probably wasn't. He's probably still listening, actually. But that came up on Hanging with the Boys because of Shannon. Because they've been trying to get Shannon to the doctor. Because Shannon hasn't been to the doctor, and how Shannon is and doesn't want to go to the doctor. So it went up on Hanging with the Boys, and he said, I'm going to the doctor, and now Shannon's going to the same doctor, and then he's going to have to do the same thing. So, whatever.
Cool.
So that's basically how it went down.
Okay. I thought you were like, hey, how you doing? He's like, what'd you do yesterday? I thought you
no,
getting into all
wasn't
that.
in the conversation.
Getting into
These guys
business.
watch more than one show. Come on.
I get it. I just didn't. I don't. So I didn't realize they were talking about that. All right. That was cool. Randy is he's awesome. He's a great caller. Now, he's not the champ though. I mean, there's only one champ, and that's the guy from the 308 in Nebraska. Champ.
Hey Nick, what's going on?
How you doing?
I can't complain one bit. Happy post eclipse day. How was that? Did you get to see it?
Yes, I did. I'll admit, I was one of those that was like, all right, I'm sure it'll be okay. This will be neat, cool. I don't know what the big deal is, but yeah, it'll be neat. And I thought it was going to be underwhelming. I did, and I was wrong. It was pretty freaking cool. I was impressed with just the predictability of it's going to happen 2024 this date at 144, and I mean it pretty much did, So
right,
it's pretty cool.
And the next was predicted 20 years out already, 2044.
Unbelievable.
So
yeah,
it is unbelievable. We got to see it up here in Nebraska in 2017, and same. I thought that big a deal, and that day it was really kind of cool.
Yeah, it was like just Independence Day just takes over for like 4 minutes. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, not
hey,
bad.
I got a little question off of Ali's question about Mr. Jones listening to the podcast. What about players? Do you know if they listen? Has anybody ever told you that they tune in?
No, but
no?
they'd be on the all storyline team if they did. No, I haven't. I haven't really. I've heard of that, but I don't know. And the players really don't listen to much of anything. Usually, what happens is a player's friend, a player's family, parent, whatever.
Maybe their mom.
Maybe somebody will listen.
Their mom.
And then it's like, oh, did you hear what they said about you? And it's never said the right way and all that kind of stuff. So,
correct.
Yeah. I mean, Romo said something one time about something he had heard I said on the podcast, and I had to kind of straighten it out with him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's never really them listening.
It's always secondhand information.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. But if so, hey, call up. So
my main question though is, so I saw some stuff that Des Bryant kind of tweeted about Micah Parsons, kind of letting them know, like, hey, this is the energy, because there was a news story that came out that Micah's his ice is wearing thin, his act and whatnot here in Dallas. And then Des comes out and tweets, hey, I've been through this, kind of like they're not wanting to pay you, basically, is what he's saying. What do you give Des that credit? Like, is he accurate in the stuff he says about the franchise? Was he a disgruntled player when he was here?
Oh, man.
More than what we already heard? And my player is, being a Texas Tech fan, you got any stories on Zach Thomas in the short time he was there?
Zach Thomas. No. Not really stories. Just a good solid pro that wanted to hang on for one more year. Probably his family loved the fact that he played for the Cowboys. He's a Texas guy. But I actually saw him at the Hall of Fame. Was it last year? Whenever D. Ware got in.
When he was inducted?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And I talked to him, and we did a quick little interview. I said, you don't remember me or anything like that, but you were here for 1 year, and we still counted as a Cowboy going in the Hall of Fame. But
that's right.
I talked to him for a little bit, but yeah, he was just a pro's pro, always was, and I don't remember a ton about him in that season. I'm actually watching Des Bryant right now here on NFL Network against the game against the Rams that they're showing. Let me be careful with what I say here. I think former players they're very vocal sometimes when they want to be. What are they going to do? Get suspended? Get cut? Get fined? Get their playing time? I mean, sometimes they say stuff so you still talk about him. You still remembering him. I don't think it has. I don't know if it's a money thing. I don't know if it's that. I think there's something to it. I mean, is there anybody say anything about CD? CD's trying to get money too. I mean, but CD doesn't do the same things that Micah, is doing at this point. I mean, it's just the way it is, and so it's not the first time that Des has thrown out something that happens and thinks that the organization is trying to spin this when it comes to a contract. He did that. He did that not too long ago, with about Trayvon Diggs, who got a contract. So that wasn't the case. So I don't know if it's always accurate. I really don't. But Des, outstanding football player when he was here, especially for the first 6-7 years of his career. Outstanding. He still owns the record for most touchdowns, and he was fun to watch. He was definitely fun to watch. But I mean, I don't say that just about Des. I say this about any former player that sometimes will say, this locker room is this, or this team needs to do this, or this is the problem. When I just have a hard time thinking that, like you know the team, you know your team, you know the organization, but you don't necessarily know this team, this locker room right now. So I do think sometimes players kind of say too much when they don't know about the current situation, even though they go off of their own memories and history, and that stuff's great too. I mean, like, we have guys breaking down football all the time that aren't in the locker room, but they know football, and that's fine. But when you start saying this is the problem with this current team, I think they're overstepping a little bit. So that's my take on that.
That's great to hear, because I listen to, like I said, I try to catch all the podcasts, especially right now during the off season, or it's only once a week for most of them. And a couple of the podcasts that have ex-players on them tend to. I hope the players aren't listening. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I can see where some of those misconceptions from family can happen, and I'm like, I don't know that we need what could be perceived as negativity a lot of times.
Well,
internal.
I get it, but then again, this is what the tough part about this. If you're not negative at all, then you're guys
not being honest.
Yeah, you guys don't want to hear that. I mean, we see it. I mean, this team underachieved last year at the end of the season. It was a great season, a great football team, and they got their ass kicked by the team that just snuck in with less talented players, but they were the better team by far that day, and that was a tough pill to swallow. And if you're not negative towards that, then you're just never negative in life. You have to. So
yeah.
So
all right. I appreciate it. Thanks for taking my call. We'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good one. All right, let's go to let's take a break. Chris, can we take a break real quick?
Of course.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back here on Cowboys Storyline.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't-stop-banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit unitedagandturf.com to find a location near you.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys, and now he's on his phone on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't-stop-banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time. But what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right, back here on Cowboys Storyline. Took a quick break here. Actually, wasn't that quick. I apologize for that. Hope you're still with us. Michael from Bowling Green, Kentucky, still on the line with us. So, Michael, what's up?
How you doing, Nick?
How you doing?
Pretty good. You enjoy the eclipse?
I did. It was yeah, I said it earlier just now on the show. It was cool. And obviously, you know, with YouTube now and everything, everyone's seen everything. You know, there's nothing you can say, "Oh, I've never seen this before." Well, I think we all can say we really hadn't seen that. So that was neat. So
yeah. Funny thing is, 6 hours later, it got dark again.
Yeah, true.
Hey, what's that text number to send the address and size?
The text line question is text line number is 817-290-3298. Yeah, send your if you made the team. This isn't just for everybody, and I know you did. I'm just saying this to everyone. Michael, you definitely did. But yeah, send in your shirt size and your address so we can send you a shirt when they're going here. I have to make the decisions on the color of the shirt that I'm leaning towards. Blue or black looks pretty cool on the blue or black, but should be cool. Yeah.
Hey,
what's up?
What I had called was I really want a center bad in the early, but if we don't get a good one, I mean we can always pick Zeke back up. I mean he's got some experience at center, doesn't he?
Wow, you went there, huh? I just think it'd be more than anything else. I just think that him coming back and playing, just so that's not his final play. And if you don't know what we're talking about the 49ers game in the playoffs where Kellen Moore decided on this weird play at the end of the game to try to put him at center, and he got blown up like Bobby Boucher was come flying at him like that. It was terrible. So I hope that's not his final play ever. So.
All right, I have a doom and gloom question for you because I don't know the answer.
Okay.
And I know you will. As of right now, and I guess it could change. I don't know how it works. Say Dak first game does an Aaron Rodgers, Achilles, whatever, out for the season. As of right now, who's our quarterback? Is it? I mean, would it be Trey Lance, or do we still? I mean, what's the situation on that?
Yeah, I hate questions like that.
Sorry.
No, I mean you have to. They have to have them. They have to be prepared for them. I mean, it would be Trey Lance. It would. Yeah, it'd have to be Trey Lance. I mean, in that scenario, I think if you're talking about, sprained calf or strained calf or something like that, where a few weeks maybe, or Cooper Rush could probably better chance to win the game, win some games and get you through. But if you're talking about the whole season, especially when you got to make decisions on him, yeah, I think it would be him. But that's I don't know. I mean, they have to have those decisions. So yeah, that's why you have a couple of different options there. But I think Trey Lance is going to play a lot in the preseason. We're going to figure out a lot of where he is and his development in the preseason.
So if Trey Lance played, do you think that would be it for Dak? Do you think they would just move on?
How does he play? I mean, what does he do? Like,
say they win 9 or 10 games.
If Trey Lance wins 9 or 10 games, maybe neither of them are the quarterback. I don't know, because you got to remember Trey Lance will be out of a contract as well. This is his last year of a contract, so that they did not pick up the 5th-year option on him. So he's done as well. So they're gonna have to figure him out as well. But sure would be ironic if Dak were to get injured and Trey Lance comes in and wins a bunch of games. I mean, that's kind of what happened for Dak to get here. So that's why stuff like that just works itself out always.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it.
All right. Sounds good. I hate just talking about like injuries like that, and you have to be prepared for everything. That's why you wear a seatbelt. That's why you have insurance. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, you don't like talking and stuff like that. But I more than anything, Trey Lance, they're gonna have to figure out him this year, and I think it's going to be training camp and preseason. I mean, I don't think Dak will play at all in the preseason. I don't even know if Cooper Rush has to play that much. I think you need to see a lot of Trey Lance to see what he can do. All right, let's go to Rob in Vegas.
Hey, Nick.
Hey.
I wanted to get your take. I mean, you're obviously closer to the team than us, but this off season just seems weird. It just seems different than in the past. I mean, as fans, we've dealt with obviously individual players maybe getting into trouble in the off season that would affect the following season, or a coaching change after a bad season. We'd be like, okay, yeah, we understand that. But this time, it seems more internally dysfunctional. I mean, we got a lame duck coaching staff and quarterback, which I don't remember any team really ever having that, especially a team coming off a 12-5 season.
Yeah.
I mean, we got our best players and some of the best players in the NFL. You got Parsons now. He's a distraction. You're hearing now. You're hearing, CD, his mom says stuff. Dak's brother says stuff. It's just such a weird off season.
Yep.
And I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if do I just say, come on, when September comes along, we'll forget about this. But I don't know how you forget about it. I don't know how coaches forget about it, knowing they got 1 year, or Dak, or why would CD sign here if they let Dak go? Because that's such a quarterback-dependent position. He's going to get his money wherever he goes. So I just don't understand. It's like I look at the Raiders being in Vegas, and I say, why do you have a $30 million wide receiver when you don't have anybody to throw him the football? I thought they should have traded Devontae Adams last year, and they held on to him. And that's how I'm going to look at it with the Cowboys. If you sign CD and then you bring in some young quarterback, I'm like, you don't need that. That's icing on the cake, receiver like that.
Right.
It's just weird. I don't know how you guys, what's the rumblings you're hearing over there? It's just a different dynamic this year. It just seems very dysfunctional from the top down.
Yeah, it definitely is unique. This one is, and like you said, there's just a lot of weird things happening or not happening. And I just think it's just kind of the way this season has developed, or the offseason has developed, because of the contracts that are kind of just hitting this wall this year.
I know, but what do you think it's like, does Jerry really need a discount? It's like you would only do this if you were looking for these guys to take less money. And, like, what are we talking here? A couple $1 million? I mean, it's like what he said about CD a couple weeks ago where, I could get 5 players for one CD, and I'm like, okay, but they'd be 5 average guys, but you got a superstar. It's just like the only reason why you would talk about stuff like this with Dak, with a CD, is because you're trying to get them to take less money. But I mean, why?
Yeah.
This is just the world. The sports is nobody takes less money unless they're on their down career. Where listen, you want to play, this is what you get. But these guys are at the top of their game. This is where they score. In Dak's case, this will be his second contract. But I don't understand. Like, what is he trying to do, Jerry? It's like, Jerry, I'm sorry. The Cowboys, as great as the brand is, the whole NFL is a great brand. They don't need to play for you, for less money to be recognized. I just don't understand what the end game is with the Dallas Cowboys. I just really don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the way they want it. They want you. They don't want you to know like that. I don't know, and I'm sure they have a plan, but it's not like we're getting press conferences every day where there's not a lot of talking about it. So it's a head scratcher, and I think and Rob, thanks for the call. I appreciate that, and also thanks for getting your shirt size in for the all storyline team. I think we've gotten like a handful here at best, so we're gonna have to. We got about 30 to go on that, but this just seems like a fork in the road season. It really does. Like, this is just where they are. They have a good team. They have good players. They can compete. And they are going to be, I think they're going to be one of the top teams in the league. Maybe not the best. Schedule seems like it could be tougher. But I just still think they're good enough to be a contending team. But with all the way the contracts are, it has to be even better than that. They have to be better than just contenders. So we'll see. Hold on. We'll see how they can contend, and I think if they do, really well, then I think that might sway what Jerry does and how he does certain contracts and players and coaches and stuff like that. But we are looking at a situation where it could look very, very different next season. And if it looks very different next season, it might take a couple seasons to kind of turn it around. So that's why this is such a weird year, because it really could go either way. And I think that's what's going to determine the next couple of years. I mean, I just think this is the end of that window. And, they can decide whether or not they push it up and open up the window more. But as it stands right now, like, this is kind of that fork in the road type season. All right. Let's go to the text question here. This is from Chuck D. in Orange, Texas. I know Dak has a no-trade clause. If he agrees that he wants to be traded to a team that he wants, can he be traded then? Yes. We can waive the no-trade clause. So it just depends on the team and the situation and all that. I mean, it would have to make sense for him. He's not just going to go to a team that's maybe in a rebuilding stage or whatever. But, if it's a trade that would work for him and also works, that they have the money to pay him or whatever it is. I mean, whatever the situation would be. But, yeah, he absolutely can waive the no trade clause if he chooses to. So, and I'm sure if that were to be a case, that would be something that he would discuss, obviously, with his agent, and they'd figure out what works best for him. All right, Servando in Corpus Christi. Servando.
Hey, what's going on, Nick?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Is it first time call?
I've called the beginning of the season when it was training camp and last season. But, so first off, karaoke.
Yeah.
I have two go-tos.
Okay.
Two go-tos. So I got, this is Sublime, Santeria. That's always a go-getter.
Okay.
And then to close out the night, you're probably going to, have no clue what I'm saying here, but Ramon Ayala, Tragos Amargos. And man, that down in South Texas, that just, it goes off. It goes off.
Okay. All right.
But
it's not closing time. That would be.
Yeah. No, not. I mean, I like closing time, but
I don't know
you
who
know,
sings
I'm
that,
Mexican,
but yeah,
so.
yeah. Okay. Say that one more time. What's the name? What's the name of that song again?
Tragos Amargos.
Still have no
by
clue.
Ramon Ayala.
What you said. Awesome. I bet you that's awesome, though, for sure. All right.
Well.
All right, Servando, what do you got?
Question that I have. This whole Tyler Smith guard, left tackle, guard, left tackle, is this possibly Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones saying, you know what, he's, what is this, his third or fourth year?
Mm-hmm.
This is coming into his fourth season, I believe?
Third for Tyler Smith. Third. Year. Yeah.
Okay, his third year, but he's got a 5-year option, right? Because we got him in the first round?
Yes.
Okay, so is this a whole money situation where, like, if we move him to left tackle, he's going to be a bigger hit on our salary cap in 2 years? Or if we keep him at guard, he's a little bit cheaper at guard, and we can possibly draft, a starting left tackle?
I hope not.
And that's what's been on my mind, because I wouldn't mind him at left tackle or at guard. I mean, he played tackle in college, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
I'm
just curious. I'm just curious as to if they're looking at it as a business decision and they're saying, you know what, we could save money if we keep him at guard because it's a cheaper position to pay, rather than in a year or two fork out this huge contract for a left tackle.
I hear what you're saying there, and I'll say this: the guards are actually making more than you would think. I mean, I don't know if it's the same at left tackle, but I don't think that's the case. I don't. I think this is a situation of where you have a player who has proven he can do both, and so let's see. Larry Allen was the same way. I mean, Larry Allen could play both, and he did. He played tackle, he played guard, and then he went back to guard, and that was a position where he could dominate for years to come. I've always said I would play Tyler Smith where he can be an All-Pro. That's where I would play him. He could probably be a Pro Bowler at any spot, but I bet, and the same goes with Zach Martin. He could have played tackle at any point here, but he was an All-Pro guard. And I don't think it had anything to do with money. I think it was, where is this the best fit? And so right now they don't have a decision because they don't know who their tackle is going to be, and they don't know who their center is going to be. Right now, think about it. If you might have you're going to have a new center and you're going to have a new tackle. At least you've got a badass at left guard in Tyler Smith who can help both sides. Because if you don't, if you just move him to tackle, then you got a new guard and a new center. Where do you think a guy like Aaron Donald? Go ahead.
Well, Aaron Donald was the GOAT at on the defensive tackle side. He's probably the best defensive tackle to ever play the game.
My point is, I know what I got cut off. What I was saying is, I know he's retiring, but if you have a new guard and a new center, and you're playing against a guy that's got an Aaron Donald type of player, where do you think he's lining up? I'm saying, so try not to have any kind of inexperienced weakness on your team. That's why I think keeping him at guard, Tyler Smith, because he's got brute strength. He can kind of help both your tackle and your center. That's why I think he's going to kind of stay where he is, and they're going to draft a tackle, and they're going to figure out maybe draft a center, or they're going to get a center, one of these young guys to play center. So.
And to be honest with you, I honestly believe that no matter where you put him at, I wholeheartedly believe that he could be an All-Pro either at guard or tackle if they just cement him there and leave him there and let him perfect his craft.
I agree. Now, I think they need to figure that out, because I do think there's a different body type to play guard and to play tackle. And so you'd like for him to kind of know that going into the season, going into his career, about what he's going to play. Does he need to, bulk up? Does he need to kind of slim down a little bit and have those quick feet for tackle? But either way, I think he's smart as a whip, too, so he can figure it out. He can play either one. That's one thing that's an advantage for him. He's very young. He's hungry, smart, super strong. Like, he could play either position. And I think, I agree. I think he could play it well. So, but I don't think it's a money thing. I really don't. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think because you're going to pay top dollar for a great one regardless. And I think that's the path that he's on. All right, let's move on to Zach. He's in Latvia. Zach, what's up?
Sorry, say it again.
Zach in Latvia, you there?
Hey, what's up, Nick? Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. What's going on, man? How are you?
Great. What's on your mind?
Oh, I got just two quick questions for you. Or I should start off. It was WrestleMania this past weekend, and I haven't put this out there, but The Undertaker, all-time greatest.
Okay. I saw that. I saw the clip where he, I mean, I don't know. I haven't been to a lot of wrestling matches, but when the lights turn off, you never know what's going to happen, right? Like expect something crazy. And I think that's what it was. Didn't that what just happened this year? He just shows up behind the Rock, or was that an old clip?
Yeah, exactly. I saw the clip too. I didn't get to watch the show, but it brings that old school feel back, which is always nice. So.
Nice.
The question I had more in reference to now that Gallup is gone, when you look back at when we cut or traded Amari Cooper and then we signed Gallup, and basically we used that money that we were going to pay Amari and we put it to Gallup, and we also put it to, I would look at it, Schultz that year. Now with both of those guys gone, do you look at that as a bad deal? In my opinion, I think maybe it was probably a little bit more behind-the-scenes stuff going on with Amari, more so than his on-the-field talent. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would. I would definitely think there was some stuff going on there. And I also think that it was their belief that that for the money that they were paying, that they would have to pay Amari, that they didn't think they could get the same kind of production out of CD. And they really thought CD was ready to blow up and be a star. So that's why I've never really harped on the Amari Cooper one that bad, because they signed more free agents that year, and then they got they re-signed Leighton Vander Esch, they signed Dorrance Armstrong, they signed a Fowler, they signed a lot of these other guys, and then also just felt like we're gonna really open this thing up for CD to really blossom, which happened. So, but you feel like you could have gotten more for it. But that's what people are forgetting a lot of times, is that they just see guys getting traded for not much. Like, we could have done that. They're trading the contract. And so by trading the contract, that's almost like just getting a compensatory pick for it. It's typically what is happening here.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I think part of the issue, though, is how much we gave up to get him. And it was only, I believe, 3 years.
Yeah.
Give or take from when he came in. So when you trade a first and you only get a fifth back, and then the two guys that you take the cap, because you're basically, like you said, you're trying to allocate those funds elsewhere, and now both of those guys are gone. You look back and it's like, it's just a little sour. But
yeah, I mean, yeah. If you were to break it down from that perspective and say, should we do this? Should we make this trade for next year's one so we can win the NFC East this year, and then not make the playoffs for the next two? Is it worth it? And you're like, no, probably not. I mean, when you think of it like that, then there's a lot of moves you probably wouldn't do. So, yeah, I don't know about the trade so much as just the overall trading. Trading the next year's first to get him, because you were 3-5 when they made that trade. They were a 3-5 football team, and or they might have been 3-4. And then lost the next game, but they were 3-4. It wasn't going well, and probably going to have a decent pick. But they turned things around and won a playoff game and all that stuff. So hindsight's always had the best vision. So
in the moment, like you said, that trade, when they made that trade, that was a necessity too, because it was that wide receiver by committee. Alan Hearns was basically your one at the time. So I mean, it wasn't a bad trade in the moment. I think it's really the back end, but it's always easy to do this after the fact.
Right.
Apart, so
yeah.
Good point. Last question. I'll let you go because I know the show's probably ending. If you could bring any player back to help this team this year, it could be anybody. Who would you bring back? Doesn't have to be a free agent that we just lost, but just in general.
Just anybody to help this team. I mean,
yeah.
Who would you bring back?
good. It's a tough one. I think I always like the linemen. I think if I could bring back a Larry Allen, even though we have a good guard, and maybe kick Tyler out. But, I mean, if you want to go skill position, you could always do that. But I think the line's always a necessity.
I mean, I would take a 2016 Zeke.
That's true.
I would take a younger
Zeke. I
Zeke.
mean, we might get a 2024 Zeke. Who knows?
We might, and that's I mean, looking at a back like that, or looking at a Frederick type of center, you just look at the positions that you need. You would take that guy for sure. But yeah, I mean, I would I'm looking at those positions right there. You look at or left tackle. Just you looking at a quality left tackle, center, and running back. Those are positions that I think you could definitely use a plug and play player. Maybe a really good defensive tackle too. So, all right, Zach, thank you for the call. All right, let's go. Let's keep it moving here. Let's go to Chuck D in Bridge City, Texas.
Hey, man, first time caller.
All right, here we go.
I actually text too for the first time, so that was pretty neat.
Okay. We'll get a here we go for that too. I thought we had you had the text not too long ago about the Dak and the trade clause, but good to hear you on the line. What do you got for us?
Thanks, man. So it's more of a statement, but the way we have the second round pick last year on the tight end, it seems like our luck with second round tight ends, with Martellus and then Escobar, we just ain't had good luck picking them in the second round.
Anthony Fasano as well.
Oh, yeah, there's another one.
Yeah.
And also, I had another thing, like you've been talking about this all-star callers. I have an all-star team y'all should have with all y'all's different podcasts. I think it should be you, obviously, and then get Mickey on there, and then Nate Newton. And I like Brian Broaddus because he's got the scout's perspective on it. And that's all I got, man.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what, it'd be tough to get a word in there, but I wouldn't mind it for one reason and one reason only. And Chris knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I would never feel so young if I was in there with Mickey, Nate,
Tigers,
and Brian. I mean, I'd be the young pup again. I'm surrounded by all these people we have working here, all these young, talented people. But I mean, I'm the old guy in the group. But put me in that group. And I'd be the youngster, barely. But
that'd be a lot of experience, and I feel like y'all have a different perspective. And
I feel like we've probably been on a show before, like the four. I would imagine, maybe at least three of the four, for sure. So yeah, that would be an old school type show right there. We could talk a lot about the older players, but that's cool. Yeah. Well, So what's your point? Don't draft any more tight ends in the second round?
Oh, you just would think, man, we'd learn our lesson. Like, it's just not working out.
Well, let's remember one thing about that: Fasano, Martellus, and Escobar. Okay, they were all drafted in the second round. They all had one big, common denominator that was standing in the way of them in playing, and that's Jason Witten. Jason Witten, and he never said this, but if you know Witten at all, that fueled him every single time that they drafted him. Because there's stories out there where Jason Garrett decided not to, he didn't want him to block the defensive tackle, didn't want him to wham the nose in practice, didn't want to get his all-pro tight end hurt. And he was like, "You don't think I can do it, coach? You don't think I can wham the nose?" I'm like, "Well, I know you can do it, Witten, but we don't want you to do this in practice here." He's like, "I can do it, So he was getting called out all the time. So when they drafted a second-round tight end, I mean, he was like, "Okay, all right, I think I got a couple more years, huh? Is that what you think?" I mean, that fueled him. That's what made him kind of what he was. And so those guys never had a chance to play, I mean, not over him. And then this case, Schoonmaker, let's see. But they did have a Pro Bowler in Jake Ferguson that just, took off. So the jury's still out on Schoonmaker for sure. I still think he's going to be a solid player. And, we'll see how he develops into, I mean, I think Kittle and Kelsey had nothing their first year as players. And so that position could be one that takes a little bit of time. Witten had 35 catches his first year, and one touchdown. and then became the greatest tight end in the history. So that position can be difficult early on. I'm not ready to write off Schoonmaker, but those other three had a problem because Jason Witten wasn't going to give them the time of day to get to take his job. So.
Right. I guess I just looked at what Sam Laporta did, and I really wish we would have got him, but it didn't work out.
No. But then, I mean, it didn't work out because you still have Mozzie Smith that hasn't done anything yet. But I mean, you've got Jake Ferguson, who I think is just going to be just as good, maybe even better. We'll see how Laporta develops. I mean, that was a great pick by them, but I don't think the tight end position's hurting you when you have. I think Ferguson's going to take off and become a star. So to get him in the 4th round, that would be considered a steal. The problem is you didn't see the other draft picks that they've got, to take advantage of it. If they would have drafted Mozzie Smith and he had a great season, then you're like, wow, we got a star tight end in the 4th round last year, and you got Mozzie Smith. But Mozzie's still yet to develop. So
yeah. No, that's cool.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you taking my call, and hopefully I'll get on more.
All right. Thanks for the call and the text today. I got a new listener for Chuck D in Bridge City, Texas. Maybe not a new listener, but a new contributor for sure to the show. All right. Let's we'll wrap this show up with that call right now. Remember to text in at 817-290-3298 if you are a member of the all storyline team. Doesn't matter if you were first, second, third team, honorable mention, doesn't matter. You get a t-shirt. We want to get your size and we want to get your address so we can send it off to you. So send that in the text line if you can. We're going to try to get these knocked out here in the next couple of weeks, try to round up all these sizes and addresses if possible. All right. We will see you Thursday. April 11th. We'll see you on Thursday to talk more Cowboys storyline. So for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We'll see you on Thursday.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?